There are tons of ways to get help, but to start, we need to understand that it's required in the first place before we can take the next step. Nobody does this alone. When I put it so plainly, it seems like common sense, doesn't it? But then we come across terms like self-made and start to wonder whether that's still what we should be shooting for. I love the term self-made, particularly when it's used in reference to my own success. Because only I know how much work it took to get from there to here. I was the one who got up before the sun. I was the one who logged all the miles on business trips. I was the one who cried over the P&L and stressed about making payroll. Me. For years, I held on to that title and the idea of doing it all on my own because it fired me up and helped me keep going when it felt so lonely on this entrepreneurial journey. In the last few years, I've realized something, though. I am self-made, and also not. It's only recently that I understood that no one is ever truly self-made, because it's impossible to build big things entirely by yourself. A whole team of people helped me build my company over the last decade. A massive tribe who started out as a handful of followers, told their friends about my work, and are still the greatest hype squad I know. It took family and babysitters and nannies to help keep our family afloat during the times I had to put in extra hours. It took the world's biggest cheerleader as a husband, celebrating my wins and covering my losses both financially and emotionally in those early years. It took a village, and it still takes a village. It took me raising my hand and asking for help. Hey, hubby, can you help watch the kids this weekend so I can get some work done? Hey, Instagram friends, can you share this in your social media feeds to let people know about this book I wrote called Party Girl? Hey, manager at work, I can meet all of your priorities, but not without another team member or an extension on the due date. I'm only one person. When I wanted to train for a half marathon, I asked someone on Dave's team at work if he could coach me. The only thing I knew about him was that he was a marathon runner. Ken taught me everything I know about running long distance. When I wanted to write that first book, my mom came to town many weekends and helped with the boys so I could write. She would show up in our upstairs bedroom with snacks at almost the exact moment I was ready to throw the computer against the wall. When this company I've built started to scale so big and so fast that I didn't think I could properly run it alone anymore, I swallowed a massive amount of ego and asked my husband for help. Do you know how much pride I had being a female founder and CEO with a high school education? A lot. Do you know how interested I was in admitting to him, to myself, or to you that I couldn't continue to lead the company and lead this tribe simultaneously? Not interested at all. But the thing is, I've learned over the last decade how easy it is to burn out, or worse, give up on your dream because you're trying to do too many things at once. So I've learned, and I ask for your help. I have help, you guys. I have so much dang help, and I'm always looking for ways to free up more of my time so I can focus on my values. People ask me all the time how I do it all, and I am happy to shout it from the rooftops. I don't. We have a full-time nanny, and we've had one since our oldest was 3 months old. Because of moves or additional kids added to our family, we've had 3 separate nannies, though not all at once, in our history as a family. These women, Martha, Jojo, and now Angie, have loved my children well and made it possible for me to pursue my career while Dave pursued his. They came in early and stayed late. They allowed us to have weekly date nights, and occasionally they stayed the night so we could get away. We have never had family nearby who could help with our children, and these women were our surrogate family. I can't imagine how we would have managed without them. 3 years ago, we hired a housekeeper, full-time. We talked about and planned for years to get to the place financially where we could afford a full-time housekeeper, and it's the greatest luxury in our life. The more kids we had, the less we wanted to spend our nights and weekends doing laundry and mopping floors. We also craved help with dinners and grocery shopping, and someone who would take our minivan or our mini schnauzer to get washed. I have an assistant at work as well as a team of people at the Hollis Company who support me in my business endeavors. I use stylists to pick out flattering outfits for me when I go to fancy red carpet events or on TV shows. I use hair and makeup people when I'm going to be on television, and a few times I've had a woman come to my home and give me a spray tan in my bathroom. She had a pop-up tent. I thought it was magical. If this much help seems excessive, I'd challenge you to weigh it against the level of content we've been able to push out into the world over the last 5 years. I wouldn't have been able to do 1/10 of this work if I hadn't had help. If this much help seems unnecessary, well, dang, sis, you don't have to go full tilt like I do, but please teach yourself to raise your hand and admit where you're struggling. You don't need to be in a specific financial place to get help. You can trade with a friend or simply ask your partner for more support. You do not need to be in a specific emotional place to get help. You do need to realize that while you are blazing a new trail for yourself, you aren't required to walk down it alone. The point in all of this long and crazy rant is that if you struggle with admitting that you need help, you have to take a good hard look at what is required to get you to the next level. If there's a time commitment involved and you already feel like you don't have enough time, you might need to ask for help. If there's a level of knowledge involved that you don't already have, you might need to find a teacher. If there's a promotional level involved, you might need to ask your existing customers if they'd be willing to help you get it out in the world. I heard once that most people who choke to death on food do it in close proximity to someone who could have saved them. It's a horrible reality. What happens is that they're sitting at a table eating with a group, and when they begin to choke, they feel embarrassed that they're struggling. Inevitably, they stand up from the table, and when their friends ask if they're okay or need help, they wave them away like everything's fine. They go to another room, so their struggle won't be a bother to anyone. It's not until they're alone and really fighting for breath that they realize they need assistance, but by then it's too late. Friends, your struggles don't mean that you're weak. They mean you're human. Your inexperience doesn't mean you won't succeed. It just means you haven't yet. Stop pretending. Stop faking it. Stop suffering in silence. Stop setting yourself up as a martyr. Stop taking it all on alone and then feeling bitter about it. Stop wasting your time on activities you hate as penance for the time you want for yourself.